We are
Well,
we are live. We are live. And so we're going to just pause for a minute because sometimes this medium it kind of it's probably like a 3 or 4 second delay. And so the folks are coming on and we appreciate that. So we are going to jump in and get started. So look, I have a new my marketing director just finished our new intro video.
okay.
But this medium doesn't allow me to put it on. So I'm going to play it on Facebook so that everybody that gets the rerun, they'll be able to see it. So we just ready to we ready to jump right on and get started. Look, welcome everybody to DrDerren.com. You know it's Marriage Monday, and we are excited to have each of you here with us tonight. I appreciate all of your calls. So many of you called and wanted to know why we were not on the air on last Monday. But it was election day, and my guest speaker was not able to come. So thank y'all. We were 5 weeks strong, and then we took a break last week. And Mike and JaNean, the folks did not like the fact that we took a break last week because we have started something here with DrDerren.com, and so I am honored. The old people used to say that they were hyena happy and peacock proud, and that's how I feel tonight. Let me just share with you. Some of you will probably send me a text and want to know where my wife is. She was double booked, but she is coming, and so she'll be here shortly. But I want to just appreciate our guests sharing with us tonight. We have Michael Taylor and Mrs. JaNean Stubbs Taylor. They are good friends of ours. In fact, JaNean is the author of this great book, I Keep It Close, and she has another one. And it's all marked up and it's signed. But then even more than that, she got a nice big old workbook that goes with it. But the principles that she speak about not only transformed my life, but it transformed the lives of our members. Many of our members financially are doing extremely well, and it's because they're practicing the principles. And so I'm excited to have Michael and JaNean. Michael is the CEO of Threefold Transportation, and JaNean is the Senior Vice President at what was formerly SunTrust Bank. Now, is it Truist Bank?
It is Truist Bank, yes.
It's Truist Bank. All right, and so they are sharing with us. You all already know that we've kind of been in a place where we've been working because our goal is that we will not see another marriage end in divorce. And so the statistics are startling that 1 out of every 2 relationships, 1 out of every 2 marriages end in divorce. And so JaNean and Mike, one of the things that I decided was that I needed to do my part to ensure that, in fact, I keep saying not near another one will be a divorce on my watch. I believe in the covenant of marriage, and I believe that while it is work, if the people are willing to jump in and to do the work, then things will work out. And so the numbers are crazy. 50% of all marriages will end in divorce. 60% of people who get married a second time, those marriages don't work. And so every 13 seconds, somebody's getting divorced. That leads to 277 divorces per hour, 6,646 per day, and 46,523 per week. And so I am believing that because of our time together, really tackling those things that just kind of throw a dart in our program, that's really what we're doing. And so we started 5 weeks ago talking about communication. What we found was that couples don't talk. They don't talk. I mean, people been married 5 and 6 years, and they still learning stuff about each other. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So we spent 2 weeks talking about communication and why it's important to communicate, because the studies show that communication, sex, and finance were the 3 areas that if people were able to get those areas together, then we would really be in a good place. And so we spent 2 weeks talking about sex. But the information and the feedback that we received, it was off the chain. We got men that was delivered. We recognized that, we told women to stop playing games, and we brought in a psychologist to just kind of talk about the fact that people need therapy. And Rudy and JoNean Hooks joined us for both of those sessions, and Rudy has a powerful testimony that he shared that transformed the lives of so many people. And so the sex piece was a hit. And so now we're at the place of finance. And when I thought about finance, there were only two names that came up that I initially thought about. And I was just like, I need to get them on. It was you guys, and it was Joan Pratt. And so I moved Joan to next week. Joan just had a defeat in the controller's office for Baltimore City. And so I wanted to give her some time to just kind of work through all of that. Y'all know Baltimore City has new leadership now that was elected, that will start back in December. So so it's good. So that's where we are. That's how, and that was the law. I took y'all all the way around the Beltway. I took y'all all the way around the Beltway so that you could understand why we're here today. And so when I think about finance, I recognize that my counseling load is huge for persons that just don't know what to do with the money. And that's the reason why premarital counseling is so huge and so important, because people really need to understand that, you know what, we need to talk about that before we get into it. And so once we get into it, we're good. So Mike, JaNean, let me just pause for a minute and just give you an opportunity to just share an opening statement or whatever you want to share. And then we're going to get into how to help couples understand some of the traps in finance and what you all have seen. So y'all take it and run with it.
Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys tonight. Go ahead, Jenny.
All right. So we are, first of all, DrDerren, it's a pleasure to be on the DrDerren show. I love it. I love it. I love it. So a couple of things that come to mind. First of all, you were sharing the statistics, and I'm going to give you a little bit more statistics in a minute. But just as an opening statement, you are absolutely spot on. And let me just give this disclaimer tonight. Yes, I am a senior vice president at SunTrust Bank, now Truist. Tonight, I am speaking under the umbrella of my ministry, and that is Fruits of Finance. So the conversation tonight will be via the Fruits of Finance channel. I'm an experienced and career banker.
So look, what you really want to say is the views expressed on this show is not that of Truist Bank, but they are of JaNean Stubbs and Michael Taylor. Right. We want to put that out there early on, so won't nobody be saying nothing. So come on.
Exactly. So because of this topic and because of the number of conversations and consultations that I have had the pleasure of, I'm going to say for most of the part moderating, with all due respect, okay, we launched Money Matters in Marriage in February 2020. Am I correct? We launched a 10-week, it's a 10-session series called Money Matters in Marriage. And it's based off of Ecclesiastes 4:9. Two are better than one because why? They have a good reward for their toil. And when you think about it, our mission really is to do what? To provide effective and reliable tools, not just a conversation, but hands-on tools and applications and resources through which couples, not individuals, I say couples, can collectively communicate, control, and commit to better managing and growing their finances. So there's a couple key words there that I want everyone to take away tonight. It's about couples. It's about communication. It's about collective control, not individual control. So that what? We can do exactly what you said earlier. We can start decreasing or how about this? Just not be a part of the statistics anymore.
Right.
Okay? So that's my opening statement. That's where I want to kind of launch us off there, if you will.
Yeah.
And I'll turn it back in your court because there's a lot that I have that I would love to say. And Michael and I,
you know me, we're gonna keep it real.
We're gonna keep it real with you. This is by the way, this while we are a married couple under the umbrella of Fruits of Finance, when the Holy Spirit released to me Money Matters in Marriages, there was absolutely no way that this segmentation of Fruits of Finance could give birth without my husband. Let me make that very clear.
Yeah.
I cannot and will not have a conversation about marriage and money when my husband and I, Michael and I, can't be sitting side by side, because there was a time where we were like this with conversations with money. Okay.
Yeah.
And now we feel
and I want to just jump in there, because there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that's just like that. There's still a lot of people that have you have mine, and I have mine, and you have yours, and I mean, there's still a lot of people like that. And and my counseling load continues to grow. And when I dig in to really understand what some of the key issues are, it in many instances it surrounds finance. So I want to just throw it out there. And one of the things that this audience really appreciates, they appreciate the fact that we just kind of keep it real. It's no holds barred, and we just kind of bring it how we bring it. And that's this. And right now, people don't need another speech. They don't need another fake person with a fake presentation. People just kind of need some real truth. And the fact of the matter is, they need somebody to say, hey, you know what? It's really nothing wrong with you. You're just not disciplined. That, you know what? I get it, that when you get your money, you 45, but you still want to go buy some ads, some Nike ads, or some Under Armour shorts. And, I mean, at some point we got to grow up, and we got to kind of change the paradigm, and we've got to change some things. So one of the things that I think it's real key for us to just grasp is looking at our situation right now. What is it that I should start doing? What is it that I should stop doing? And what might I continue to do? And so that's really what I want. If there are people who are watching who are young in their marriage, and they're finding that they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it. Shalon and I have been married for 24 years, and we live a great life. God has blessed us. We live a great life. I can do what I want. I basically travel the world. And when I decide, people laugh at me, but one of the things that I need for me, and this is just for me, but I work really hard. And so I believe that I should play hard. And so once a quarter, I must go on vacation for a week. And so that's just something that I just decided for us, because we ripping and running. I got a business going on. I got a church. I still work a full-time job. And so I work really hard. And so one of the things that I designed for me, but it didn't always start like that. Early on in our relationship, we do lavish trips to wherever we want to go for our anniversary now. But there was a time when we went downtown and stayed at the Marriott and looked at the water and listened to Patti LaBelle sing. I remember one anniversary, it was real tight. And so we had enough money to stay at the Marriott for 2 nights. And Patti LaBelle was at Merriweather. So we had a balcony room, and we sat on the balcony and listened to Patti LaBelle and didn't even pay for it. But we learned, and we would be just as happy doing that. So if you have some people that's kind of watching now, they've been married 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, got a few kids, and they kind of have backed themselves into a corner because financially they really didn't have they didn't have any training, any teaching. They just know that they did it the way that they saw their mama and their daddy or their grandmama and them do it. And so what would you say to people that's looking right now and they kind of feel bad that, you know what, I've been married 6 years, 10 years, and as the old people say, I don't have what they say, I don't have a pot to a drop. I
can tell you. Can I say it? My grandmother used to always say, "You don't have a pot
to piss
go to the or a window to throw it out of."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what would you say to people that's their testimony? Now we can laugh, we ain't supposed to say, I guess when you save, you ain't supposed to say pot to piss in, but this is DrDerren, so we can say that. We ain't in the church tonight. So what would you say to somebody that they're finding it rough and difficult, and because of the fact that their money is out of whack, it's causing some problems in their relationship? Because the fact of the matter is, if you ain't bringing no money home, and I gotta wonder if the gas and electric truck, is gonna pull up, if I gotta look to hide my car around the corner. So what can you tell some people that might find themselves in that place right now?
So DrDerren, thank you. That's the purpose of this marriage ministry that God has given us, to help develop and change the culture of marriages. The communication part is huge in that. I can say we have that testimony. of putting two nickels together to make a dime. We've been there. Right. All of us have that experience, but we also understand that in the change of life, things will evolve through communication. So, I mean, JaNean has a lot of points that she can bring to you tonight. And that's all I can say is the communication part, and to hang in there, because again, you just gave a testimony of the little things, and you build off of that, and you got to remember those things as you grow. And then guess what? That's a good thing. I mean, parents used to say, you know what? I know old folks used to say, I didn't know I was poor because our parents didn't, the way they had us live, they didn't tell it. We didn't think we were poor. So now even in marriage, you have to live that life, to make you comfortable until you get to the point where you want to be.
Right. So, yeah. Good point. Good point. Michael's coming out. So
Mike, Tyler, you out. You out, Michael. You out.
I'm trying not to take over, man. I'm trying not to.
So there are a couple of thoughts that come to mind. First of all, we're all foundational. So I think when we really understand that God owns it all, I'm going to start there. God owns it all. And he uses money three ways in our lives. He uses money as a tool, a test, and a testimony. Yeah. And far before we said, I do, okay, God was still using money as a tool, a test, and a testimony in our lives individually to see, are we going to, okay, this money is a tool. And as long as we are earning the tool legitimately, and I'll say that, okay, God's going to test us with it and say, okay, are you going to be a good steward over my resources? Or do you really honestly believe because you work 40 hours and you got paid, you are entitled to utilize these resources any way you choose to, thus forgetting that it was he who actually blessed you with the job. Yeah. It's a job, about our income. So I want to kind of lay the foundation there, but you asked me, what should we start doing? Okay. And I'm going to use some terminology that I believe every couple is extremely familiar with, okay? Because when we are first attracted to someone, okay, we are attracted to them visually. Would you agree, Dr. Darren?
Absolutely.
You see someone, you're like, oh, wow, it's something about that person that innately attracts you, okay?
The Lord is my shepherd. I see what I want.
I see what I want. And go back there. And for some of us, because we see it, we think we have to have it. And just because you can afford it doesn't mean you have to buy it.
Right.
Okay. Right. So what should we start performing as marriage couples? I'm going to put it out there. We need to start performing what I call financial intimacy. We can be intimate in everything else. Okay. But when it comes down to talking about money, ain't nobody taking nothing off.
Right.
Okay. So somebody out there saying, well, wait a minute, JaNean and Mike, what do you mean? What is financial intimacy? Well, let me tell you what financial intimacy is. It's you, your husband, your wife, okay, literally exposing their financial resources to one another in a context within your relationship.
Right.
So just as we're all adults on this line tonight, okay, but just as physical and sexual intimacy, relationship partners should always be mindful of protecting their health and safety before merging their money. Before marriage, I said merging, not marrying, merging their money.
Right.
So most of us go back to what I said with this visual. Okay, we see it, we want it, we got to have it. But there's a session that I teach in this, and I think is pretty powerful when I teach this. And one of the topics I want to get to and look at it is saying I do to debt. How many of us even stop to think, okay, I know my future husband is healthy physically. I know my future wife is healthy physically, but is he or she healthy financially?
Yeah.
You don't stop. So my recommendation is that we all start performing in what I call financial intimacy. And let's get naked financially with our spouses. I didn't say which way, whichever. I said, let's get financially naked. Expose ourselves, okay? Because that word communication,
Mm-hmm.
very salute when we're talking about our finances.
So Pastor Darren, I'm gonna stop you right there. Earlier in our relationship, that communication part came up, and I was going through a trying season of my life, and I had to humble myself and explain to JaNean exactly where I was. We had a great relationship, but I had to say, hey, listen, this is where I am financially, but this is my goals, this is my aspirations, this is where I want to be. I can't do this now, but if you hang in there and we formulate a plan together, and I knew her background, I knew that, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do. Let's get there together, and you'll see the fruits of my labor. You have to be, you know what I mean? So that's what helped.
You were man enough.
I was man enough to say, hey, look, I don't have crack.
I approached them. I listen, ladies, okay? We're great communicators, okay? We cannot fear having that deep dive conversation before we get married, okay? Men, just like Michael just said, we're in this together, okay? It's not always going to be 50-50. It's not always going to be 70-30. It's going to be a time. We don't know when seasons are going to take place and levels are going to take place in life.
Absolutely.
But when we come together as one, okay, it's not about you didn't pay that BGE bill. It's about why didn't you tell me that you were having challenges and the BGE bill.
Right.
And I come home and it's hot. It's 100 degrees outside. And I don't have no way up.
Right.
And they say, because you ain't paying your bill. Right. That's a problem, because guess what? When you are a teen, I can't carry that this month. Something else came up. You got my on this one. Okay, I got you. No surprise. We're going to talk about that, but start performing financial intimacy. Don't be afraid to get naked financially and put it all out on the table. Okay. Share your credit reports, share your FICO scores, because we're going to talk about this next. But I guarantee you didn't get married just because. You all had some commonality there, your dreams, your aspirations, and I'm going to stop here. Your quality of life had to have complemented each other somewhere.
Right.
You like to travel, so I know daggone well you wanted a woman that was ready to travel.
Yes, sir.
There you go. That was it. You had somebody, hey, listen, we work hard, but we're going to play hard too. So if you want to stay home and don't want to spend money and stuff like that, you're not the one for me.
Got it. All right. And that's good. So one of the things that people should start is they should just kind of lay it all out there, because, admission is half the battle. One, if I admit, hey, this is what it is, and that doesn't always have to be a negative situation. We can lay it all out there and say, you know what, we doing pretty good. Like, I don't want us to kind of draw a picture that everybody is at that woe it's me financially, because we got some people on here, they rolling. And so if all of our bills are paid, all of our needs are met, but we really still trying to go to that next level in our finance, what would you take me to that next place?
Perfect. So I'm gonna take you to the next place in terms of starting. Okay, we're still on the start. Out the term.
Yeah.
So when you want to go to the next level, okay, everybody in here, we all two foundational points. We know that we have to first understand that God owns it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Without him, we could do nothing. We would have nothing. So that's kind of a no-brainer. It's a non-negotiable. We all understand that. We all understand that open dialogue, open communication, but the key is the how. We can talk about these are the things you need to do, but it's how do we execute? JaNean, how do we start the communication? Michael, how do we start the communication? The communication does not start with, do you make a year? Right. How much do I make a year? That is not the type of conversation.
Right.
Okay. Couple of things that come to mind, because I love execution. I don't do well when people tell me this is what you should do, but they don't tell me how to do it.
Yes.
Okay. Because now I'm making up my own rules. Okay. To my own game.
Right.
And I don't think that's very healthy. So how? First of all, there has to be what I call unified faith and trust. Do I trust my spouse enough and this is a hard question to answer. Okay. Do I trust my spouse enough to tell him everything about me financially? Let that resonate for a second. Okay. Then I want you to think, we talk about execution. That's a yes or no. If the answer is yes, babe, we were on the doctor, we participated in I love role playing, in the DrDerren show, live. And what I think, honestly, these are my takeaways. Next week, not tonight, but maybe what's today? Monday, next Monday at 7 p.m. Or let's say next Monday, we'll be with DrDerren again next Monday, but next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Let's come together and let's just have a healthy conversation about our finances. Right. That gives your spouse enough time to think about it. Okay, to prepare for the conversation. No one's caught off guard. And then you can communicate in terms of, okay, what does that conversation look like? How far do we go? But start somewhere. Divorces are happening because no one's talking about it until it's too late.
Right.
So
we got to start. So we got to start somewhere.
We start with scheduling a time to talk about it.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
So Dr. This is a scheduling time that JaNean is talking about. We try to do quarterly, and we say, okay, what do we plan on doing in the first quarter, second quarter, and by the third quarter, and how are we going to do it?
Right.
So like you said, if you're talking about next level, what is your next level? Everybody has a next level.
Right.
So if you don't put it on paper and give yourself a time, a plan,
write the vision,
and execute it'll never work.
What are your common visions?
Right.
What is
the common and separate,
common and individual vision, but also, there we go. That's exactly where I was going. If you're going to have, let me just make this very clear. It's not uncommon for a married couple to have his individual financial goals, her individual financial goals, and collective financial goals. It's not uncommon, okay? You have to figure out what is the financial culture and environment for your home. Because what may work in JaNean and Michael and JaNean Taylor's home may not work in Pastor Derren and Lady Shalom's home. Right. So you need to know what is the financial culture in your home, and your financial culture cannot be that of which you were raised in. No one can define or create the financial culture in your home except for you, and no one should be able to break that culture except for you.
Except for you, right? Absolutely.
So what's the culture? What is the culture? What is the financial culture? You know your morals, you know your values, but what's the financial culture and environment that you've created in your home behind closed doors between you and your husband? And that's intimacy.
Yeah.
Financial intimacy. Yes.
Yeah. Got it. All right. So you told us what we should start. What should we stop?
The biggest thing we can stop? Biggest thing is stop making purchases on our own.
Stop spending.
No, wait a minute. No, time out. No, let's fix that. That is not fair. So let me shed some light on that. Okay, let me put a little bit of color to that. All right. We have in our marriage, again, we're being very transparent. Yeah. Okay, so we just open forum.
Right.
We have what's called a threshold. Okay, so if there's a certain purchase individually, collectively it's a no-brainer. But if there's a certain purchase over a certain amount threshold, whether it's my independent goal or Michael's independent goal, because remember, there's no such thing as an independent financial decision.
That's right.
Correct.
It impacts everyone. Correct. Everyone in the household, including you, including your marriage. Okay. So we have a threshold. There's a certain amount over a certain amount that if I know I'm going to make this purchase, I need to communicate with Michael. And let me tell you why, because some of the significant purchases that we make, we may not be able to always purchase them with cash up front. And I'm still going to say this, this may be my grave talk, but I think cash is always king, not the king. Don't get it confused, okay? You know, the word of God reminds us it is the love of money that is the root of all evil, okay? So With that being said, what's your threshold in your home tonight? What, do you just have a culture where I buy what I want, I work hard, I buy what I want? And yes, I went out and I bought a new car last week. I did not communicate it with my husband. And now I have this new added bill that is a part of our household 4. And I taught that your financial obligation ratio, okay? Because you're going to have your 4 individually, you're going to have your 4 collectively, and guess what? In the event, this is my backbone. Right. In the event that I can't pay my car bill, and he doesn't know about it, and now I'm going to look at Michael and say, Michael, I need you to cover me this month for my car note, and he's going to say, who told you to go out and buy that car? Did we talk about that? So that's where the disconnect comes in. Yes, we're all,
and that's good, because a lot of folks struggle in that area. And if we could just get married couples to understand that. And so you said, and we have a threshold too. So, and it's funny because my wife, we've been doing this thing together so long that Shalon will call me about stuff that's under the threshold. And I'm like, babe, we agreed that we would only call, and you said communicate it. One of the things we like to say is not, because it's not just enough for us to just communicate. I need to communicate and get her in agreement with me, because I can communicate it with her and she could not agree and say, well, you know what, and so if I just say, well, I told you, no, when I'm married, how can the two of us stand except we agree? And so we get an agreement on everything. In fact, the agreement that we agree on what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, who we're going to invite to do it with us. So we get an agreement so that we don't have any money issues. In fact, and I wish Shalon was here. I don't know where she is, but I tell her all the time. I said, I have made this too easy for you. If you ask Shalon right now what bills needed to be paid or what Shalon wouldn't be able to tell you. And so I have to say to her, babe, I need you to be a little more involved so that you are clear. I said, I could be taking you for a ride. And you don't even know. The people just show up here. She was like, nah, because I wouldn't be with you if I couldn't trust you at that level. But we get an agreement. And so, we good. One of the things where people just kind of keep butting heads is that, number one, they've not mastered the agreement principle. And then number two, they just like, look, I'm the one. I went and I worked 45 hours on one job and 15 hours on another job. I'm gonna do what I want. And I try to get people to pause to say, you know what, you're approaching it all wrong. And so when we start talking about what we should stop, that impulsive spending, and really asking the question, one of the things that we've had to do while we've been in this quarantine moment, we've saved so much money, and all of the money that we save, we've been funneling more money into the savings account, because this has really been a good season for us, because we eat out 4 times a week, but we in a agreement that Michael, what you say, just don't spend when you want to. We got to get an agreement.
Right.
That's right.
I think there's a pause there. Pastor DrDerren, I'm not sure. There's a pause here. Can you hear us well?
It's still running.
I'm not sure if you can hear us, but we gotta it's buffering a little bit on our end. So I want to make sure I'm not speaking over you. I think we're connected. Let's see. Give it a minute. Sorry, moment here.
All right, we back.
There we go. Yes. I think you said something that was so profound. You said you used the word agreement. And oftentimes when we hear the word agreement or we hear the word submissive, we see that as a connotation of losing control.
Yeah.
And let me say this. It is so not about being in control. Absolutely not. It's about coming to an acceptance with one another.
Yeah.
Can we come to a happy median?
Absolutely.
So glad that you used the term agreement, because I was going there. Agreement. Agreement doesn't mean that you're passive.
Right. Right.
Okay. Agreement means just that we've come to a mutual collective unity in a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it a very healthy place with, let me say this, with no regret.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, let me make sure I made that very clear. So you can't say, yes, I agree, and then walk around and not speak to each other for 3 days. Okay, that's not the culture that you want in your home.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
So let's talk about what we need to stop doing.
Yeah, let's talk there.
All right, let's start with you. Let's stop. So we're gonna start performing financial intimacy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We check that box. Okay. Yeah. We talk about the execution, where to start. Okay. We need to stop performing financial infidelity. Okay. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We all, and let me not put that out there too broad. Let me not cast that too broad. Michael and I, okay, have performed financial infidelity.
Okay.
I have performed financial infidelity. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So what is financial infidelity? It's that secrecy, it's that dishonesty about your money with your spouse. All right. Let's just keep it real. Where we are, okay, intentionally hiding cash, hiding bills, hiding.
Well, you know that's funny, because Shalon and I laugh about that now, because Shalon grew up and was taught that this erroneous theology that says that you don't let the right hand know what the left hand. And I had to tell her that, you know what, that might be what your grandmama and your mama did, but that's erroneous, because the text was only the text only spoke about that as it related to giving alms to the poor, that we were not supposed to go around and tell everybody, hey, I just bought $25 worth of groceries for them and I just did that. No, but I said, no, we need to know every dime that's coming in here, and we ain't gonna have no little side. And I want to set some people free tonight, because there's some people, they still got their little thing off on the side that he don't even know about, and he got some stuff on the side that she don't even know about. And I want to just throw it out there and say that God is not able to separately bless that. And I will write and argue the point that, you know, when God is able to bless the whole, God will, you know, he can do so much more with the whole than he can with you doing your piece and you doing your piece. And then it just seems like we in the midst of struggle.
It's called deceit.
It's called deceit. You know, when we are outright lying.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you the biggest deceit. Now, and this is, again, personal experience, as well as being in the industry for so many years. I mean, over 30 years. Okay.
Yes, right.
Biggest deceit is that most of us, and it surprised me, and statistics will tell you that most spouses don't even know what the other spouse's income may be.
Right.
And the only time they find out is when they file taxes, and that's if they file joint.
Right.
So it's like, you know, so when Michael and I, which we do, but in the event that we didn't know, how can we plan collectively about goals, financial goals, when I don't know what he's bringing to the table? He doesn't know what I'm bringing to the table. And let's go back to that saying I do the debt. Okay. It's one thing to know our income, but what are our expenses? What are our liabilities? And there's a difference between the two.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what are our expectations?
What are our expectations? What are our goals? You know, you're living, and you may say, okay, we're living in an apartment now. We just got married. We're living in an apartment. You know, Michael mentioned that first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter goals, financial goals for the year. Yeah. In the book, you should have them out for 5 years. Okay. But we start really with 3 months. So what are you doing in the second quarter? What behaviors, trends, traits, and activities financially are you performing in the first quarter that's going to help you meet your second quarter goals.
Yeah.
But what? If we don't talk about it, how are you going to know what my goals are? How are we going to reach a collective goal and say we want to buy a house within the next 12 to 24 months? Sound real good on the surface, right?
Right.
Sounds really good. Congratulations. You and your husband are planning to buy a house. And tell me how. Walk me through your executional plan. As to what are you going to do? What are you willing to sacrifice to get there?
And I want to throw it out there because we got to go to continue, and then we're going to let the people ask some questions. But one of the things people have to stop doing, also, I want to just throw it in there, is that they have to stop lying and just be honest that, you know what, there's some men that cannot handle the fact that their spouse makes more, that the woman makes more money than them. There's some men that just kind of feels like, since my wife is making more money than me, then, let me just kind of hide some of the stuff. She wanna do it, then just kind of let her do it. And I want to just kind of free some people tonight and just tell them that, stop lying. Just tap somebody, tell them stop lying, please stop lying. Because if we stop lying and just start telling the truth, that if all you bring to the table is $65,000 and she bringing 150, y'all, somebody knew that before y'all got married.
That's right.
And so if we just stop lying and just really be honest about where it is that we are, and then kind of devise a plan so that we can just kind of see ourselves going up the ladder and recognize that where I am today, I always kind of use the ladder imagery to say that, sometimes you might only be on the second step of the ladder and you have 9-step ladder potential. And so the fact that I'm on the second step today, that motivates me to say, I'm on my way to 9-step potential. Now I'm starting to discuss, I'm starting to confess, I'm on my way to 9-step potential, because if I can't say it, I won't ever see it. And so if I get to that place where I stop all of the mess, like we just gotta be honest and just stop all of the mess, stop playing, and one of the things that we had to do, we had to challenge each other along the way and start challenging ourselves to say, did we really need that? Like, did we really need that? Because what we found is that we had we spent a lot of money that, and what a horrible thing is to get your bank statement and then you go through and look. I mean, we looked, and in 1 month alone, we spent almost $1,000 in eating out. And we was like, did we really need, let's take that down to $500 and put that other $500 in the savings account. So that's one of the things I wanted to just throw out there. People need to stop.
The only thing I have to show for $1,000 of eating out every month is pounds on the scale.
Right. Look, we call it COVID weight.
COVID weight. I was going to say something else. COVID needs to just go, because COVID has had its pros and cons. You're right. A lot of households, if you're disciplined enough, okay, because some people that are not disciplined will find other ways to spend money, i.e. online shopping. Okay. In this pandemic and these unprecedented times, there were so many ways, and I did a conversation. I did a 5-week series on a COVID conversation to try to help individuals understand the impact, whether it was insurance, whether it was spending, it didn't matter, of this season, this unprecedented season that none of us have ever seen. At least in our lifetime, we've not seen anything like this. Okay. So we're really starting to embrace and create our new norm, because in my opinion, this is my opinion, what we knew once as the norm is no longer the norm.
Right. You're right.
I think we have to accept that, which means we are being now graced with an opportunity to create our new norm.
That's
so
correct.
What is the new you, as what is the new culture, financial culture in your home going to look like now? Post-COVID.
Yeah.
So conversation.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And not just communication, but effective, intentional communication. We can say
intentional. That word intentional was huge.
Yes.
Because I can now, if it's not intentional, then that is a problem. So yeah, intentional is key right there. So look, y'all, we gonna run out of time, and so we talked about what we gonna start, what we gonna stop. What should people continue?
Okay, I want you to continue a couple of things. Okay, I call it my marriage 3M equation, right? Okay, first of all, I want you to. I'm trusting and believing tonight, Dr. Derren, that not everyone that's sharing with us tonight isn't communicating. Okay, so I want those of us that are communicating continue to communicate.
Yes.
Add some intentionality in your communication. I'm going to also say include some accountability in your communication. Okay. Spend time preparing and scheduling your communication, the conversations. Okay. That way they're a lot more meaningful. They're a lot more impactful. And not only that, but each one comes to that conversation. Okay. You notice I didn't call it a meeting. No, I called it a healthy conversation, prepared emotionally and prepared mentally.
Yeah. She asking for another meeting. We've been cooped up for 3 months.
I call him on the road. I'm like, babe, when you get home tonight, we need to go over a couple of things, okay? You got about 7 o'clock. Does that give you enough time to rest? I got a few things I need to go over. Especially with this move. This move has been, it's a lot. We sold a house during COVID. Come on now. We bought a house during COVID. We renovated a rental property during COVID. And some people were telling us, y'all shouldn't be doing all that during COVID. But our father didn't tell us to stop.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's good. That is good. So let me just ask the big question. All right. One of the big questions in the room is what can you say? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
What can you say to somebody or a couple that, you know, the spouse might be stubborn, and every time you turn around, they really don't want to talk. They don't want no lecture about what they're doing with their money. They have already decided, my parents died in debt. We in debt now, and we just gonna stay in debt. And I'm gonna keep on buying the latest and the greatest. You know, if I want a Bentley Beamer or a Benz, I'm gonna buy it. If I want a Rolex or the new next Apple stuff, I'm gonna buy it. And there's no discipline. But you got one spouse that's trying to go here, and then another spouse that's just not trying. You know, what would you say to that couple? And then we're gonna take 3 questions, and then we're gonna let the people go.
Yeah, you go.
Okay. There's a couple things that I would say to that couple. The first thing I would say is don't ever forget why you got married. Okay, go back to the foundation of your marriage. Okay, because it's conversations and division like that causes divorce. So stay rooted in the why did I marry this man? Why did I marry this woman? Okay, stay rooted in the love that you have for each other first. Second, let me just say this. Financial behaviors, traits, trends, and behaviors don't happen overnight. The mindset of that spouse that is of that my family died in debt and that we're going to be in debt. That's a mindset stronghold.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to take some and I'm making some consulting.
Yeah.
That's going to take some consulting to help get your spouse, okay, whether it's your husband or your wife, in agreement. But that behavior, that disposition it just didn't happen overnight. That is probably our financial fingerprint is actually discovered when we're 5 years old.
Yeah.
And our behaviors, when our parents would tell us no, we stomp and fall out.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So my suggestion is to stay rooted in the why did we get married? Don't ever lose sight of the love, okay? Because we can get past all the other challenges, financial challenges, if we're in agreement. So some consulting would be where I would start, with all due respect.
And so, Dr. Derren, I'm gonna finish with this. For the person who buying the Rolex and the fancy cars and stuff like that,
and non-producing assets.
The Rolex that we have and stuff like that, you want to buy the Rolex and stuff, it works through kinetics. All right.
Yeah.
And it works through your heartbeat. My heartbeat beats even faster when I'm with her. All
Yeah.
right. And around in the car, I look better with her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You set it up. You trying to set something up. You trying to set something up, Mike. Mike, you trying to set it up. But listen, let's answer this question. The question is, how do you
include accountability in communication?
How do you include accountability in communication?
Okay. Beautiful questions. Beautiful.
That's a great question, isn't it?
That is an amazing question. Okay. First of all, accountability comes in knowing your collective your collective financial obligation ratio as a couple.
Say that again, JaNean.
Accountability starts with understanding and knowing and accepting your 4 in your marriage. Your 4 is your financial obligation ratio. So collectively, what's your 4 as husband and wife? Okay. And what is my 4? Let me tell you what that is very quickly. You want accountability? That's where accountability starts. Okay. Your 4, and we're past the communication piece, so I'm not going to keep saying communication.
Can you say one more time? Say one more time what the 4 means.
It's your financial obligation ratio, and let me tell you what that ratio is. And so we Conquerors are very familiar with this because we taught this. We taught this at the church. So it's your disposable income is after tax. Disposable income divided by your monthly recurring liabilities. So you do simple math division, and you're going to come up with a percentage. Okay. Generally, financial advisors would love for your 4 to be around that's between 65 and 70. And all that really is telling you that out of 100% of our collective income, okay, that's coming in, 70% is going out into what's called reoccurring liabilities. Reoccurring liabilities is like your mortgage, your gas and electric, your car note. These are reoccurring liabilities are commitments, financial commitments that are coming every month at the same time every month. They're expenses are optional. Liabilities, okay, are obligations. Know the difference between the two.
All right, now break that down to somebody that's trying to make sure they can hold their spouse accountable. Just kind of take it to Park Heights and tell them what they need to do. How can they just kind of how can there really be some accountability? And I think that comes along with our ability to communicate one with another, our ability to get an agreement, and our ability to really understand where it is that we're trying to go. So, for me, I told you I need a vacation every quarter. And so I'm accountable to my wife to make sure that we're able to meet the goals that we collectively set. And so I'm not over here just setting goals for me and the kids and Shalon over here doing her own thing. We collectively and we hold each other accountable, and we recognize that we're open for that feedback and open for that dialogue so that, and it's all in how you phrase it. So if I have to say something, I'm not checking my wife, but it kind of goes back to our communication. When I really need to have a conversation, I'm like, look, can I say something to you without you being offended? And then I go in to explain what it is that I need, because I don't want you to be offended, because if you get offended, nothing is going to happen. And so I need us to be accountable now. And I take you back to our agreement session. We agreed that we were going to do this, this, and this. And so the first place that you may need to start is going back and re-identifying your agreement principle that you have, your collective agreement, and really just, kind of explain and talk about what does it really mean for us to be in agreement one with another. And once we are in agreement and we agree, maybe you can sign a personal contract. I agree that we always going to be in agreement. One of the things that people say that frustrates me is they say, well, we just going to agree to disagree. Well, when I'm married, I can't do that. I can't agree to disagree. That just won't work.
We don't have that luxury. And that's
correct.
How we and that 50 on the opposite side of that 50% that's getting divorced.
Correct. And we don't want to, And we don't want to do that. Now, let me just say this, JaNean. Tell the people how. Is another question? Tell the people how they can get this book. I told everybody this book changed my life, and it changed the trajectory of the Conquerors Church. So I want y'all to grab this book. JaNean, tell them how you can get the book, and we're going to have to come back because there's so much more on my paper that we didn't get to today. This was just kind of foundational. And I want us to kind of go to that next level to, because we confess. One of the things that we do at our church, y'all have been there, and we confess that, because I'm a giver, men give to me, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. We confess that that God has established millions for the kingdom and millions for us. And so, I want people to really know how to get the million. So can y'all come back? Can y'all come back so we can have another conversation?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. So tell the folks how they can get this book.
Pastor DrDerren, Dr. DrDerren. Before I say that, let me just close out with this. Listen, no, there's no such thing as the perfect culture in a household, financial culture in a household. It's what you create it to be. Just make sure it's healthy.
Yes.
Okay, just make sure it's healthy. Just make sure it's sustainable. Okay? And make sure there's an underlying intentional agreement in your culture. When we come back, we're going to talk about, components of the culture. So make sure you write that down, Dr. DrDerren. I want to talk about components of the culture. I want to talk about that. So how can you get the book?
Well, okay. Real quick, Pastor DrDerren. When we were talking about the commitment, when you commit something, we have to remember that also life happens. So don't be so stern on that agreement that we have. You have to have some flexibility in that. Don't be so hard on that on each other. So you have to have flexibility in that also.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
She has to tell you about the children.
So the book, we have the children's book because Dr. DrDerren, you wrote an amazing foreword in that book. I will never forget your words that you captured in that book, and they just resonate right here in my heart. So the 9 Fruits of Finance is a great couples book to come together and really start there with the conversations. It's right there. And then for your children, while your children are home, I posted on Facebook, take these controllers out their hands and put a book back in their hands, okay? Because they're going to have to learn how to be good stewards over God's money as they're growing up now. And I think we said the only thing they know about money is how to spend it. We need to teach them a new lesson. So I do have fulfillment. So you can email me at fruitsoffinance.com@comcast.net. Fruits, that's with an S of finance at comcast.net. Or you can always I'd encourage you just to email me directly. My ministry number is 443-844-9718. You can always go on Amazon. The book, The 9 Fruits of Finance, and then there's a workbook, and the children's book is Does Money Really Grow on Trees? Okay. I'm gonna give you a plug. Okay. I'll give you a plug. The third book is with the editor as we're speaking right now. Soon to be published. And God's timing is sovereign. I thought that this book should have been published. I thought I was delayed, but the Holy Spirit reminded me today that I'm right on time. During COVID, millions and millions and millions of people filing for unemployment. There's going to be a tremendous amount of birthing of new ideas and gifts and talents. There's going to be a lot of new entrepreneurs. So the book timing is perfect, but the book is titled Entrepreneurs of Excellence.
I like it.
Entrepreneurs of Excellence, breathing life into your gifts and talents, coming soon.
So look, what we're going to do, then we're going to have you on again because, I believe in so, and so I'm going to have to grab the first 50 copies of the book, and then we're going to sell them, and we're going to let you sign them and send them out to people from DrDerren.com.
Bless you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bless you.
All right, good stuff. Hey, Mike and JaNean, thank y'all so much for sharing with us tonight. Let me appreciate y'all because I recognize that you all just moved. You just moved from Westminster to South Carolina, And so I appreciate it. I recognize that, you know, everybody's time is valuable, but I so appreciate y'all. Bishop Frank Reed just commented and said that we both are doing great kingdom work. Keep up the good work.
I love you, Bishop. I miss you and Lady Marla.
Yeah. So look, thank y'all for coming, and let me just share with all of the persons that's following us. Do me a favor. There's an amazing.
People already want the new book.
Oh, people already comment and they want the book, and so they're gonna get
the new book.
Yeah, the new book. They said that the children's book is unavailable on Amazon right now.
Okay, contact me directly. I have fulfillment here, and
I will make sure that you are able to connect with JaNean. You can get it directly from her. That way she'll sign it and we'll be good to go. But look, I need everybody to run over to DrDerren.com. There's some great information there. There's a confession there that I want all couples. If you joined tonight, I want you to hit me up and just let me know that you enjoyed this session, and then share with me. If you want to share with me privately, you want to send me a personal message where it is from a financial perspective you and your spouse struggle. You can send that to me in a private message. Message me on Facebook, or you can write it in the comments. Let me know that, so that when we meet again, we're able to actually talk to some of those points. So I so appreciate y'all. I recognize that we ran a little over tonight, but this was time well spent. So we look forward. Look, we will be right back the same time, same place on next week. And so thank you again for joining DrDerren.com. Mike and JaNean, I'll be in touch soon.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate y'all.
You're welcome. Thank you.